Coming into 2021, you were promised $2,400 of SSI and SSDI before the $1,400 third stimulus check package became a reality. You're also promised FPUC retro, which would have been about $12,000 from July to December, hazard pay of $10,000, and the Lifeline grant of $50,000. None of those got to the finish line, but in this video I'll go over why reoccurring stimulus checks of the fourth stimulus package that's going to get in there from those Senate Democrats actually pays you a lot more. We'll go through the analysis and we'll go through the numbers and analyze how the fourth stimulus package could be the biggest payout you've ever seen of stimulus since last year. This is great news, and this is Afternoons, Noontime, LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. That $1,400 third stimulus check is landing in people's bank accounts today. Congratulations. That $1,400 third stimulus check is landing today. It's $1,400. It's less than SSI and SSDI $2,400. It's less than FPUC retro. It's less than hazard pay. And it's less than the Lifeline grant. And what's important to understand is when that fourth stimulus package lands in the Senate from those Senate Democrats, they're going to do what's called the vote-a-rama. They're going to modify the bill and put in reoccurring stimulus checks. And it's not just one senator. It's actually 21 of 50 senators are going to amend the president's infrastructure bill to put in those reoccurring stimulus checks. In this video, I'm going to analyze why those reoccurring stimulus checks actually end up paying you a lot more money, but why the president's focus on insane sums of money, $65,000 for children, and how you want to get your bill out the door as quickly as possible before anything else. Let's discuss all these details right now. How are you? It's a big day of Noontime, LA. Hope your day is going well. Let me jump into the live chat with you right now. It is exciting details. When we talk about that SSI and SSDI and $2,400 and we compare it against reoccurring stimulus checks, this is what you need to know. Those reoccurring stimulus checks have a number value, and the SSI and SSDI $2,400 has another number value. Let's analyze the situation right now, and I'll also jump into the live chat. SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Rural Benefits had a price tag of $2,400. It was a pandemic-only relief, $200 a month between January and December, $2,400. Then there was FPUC retro. It was $600 a month from the month of July to December, which would have been $12,000. There was hazard pay that could have been up to $10,000 if you had worked during the pandemic as an essential worker and had the requisite number of hours times $13 an hour. It was up to $10,000. And finally, there was a Lifeline grant that was in the HEROES Act, Nancy Pelosi's bill. It was a big ticket item of $50,000. None of these items ever got to the finish line. And yet to this day, the top three still remain a push and could still see hope. In some of the videos throughout the days, and certainly today as well, viewers have been asking, what about that SSI and SSDI of $2,400? Let me explain what's going on with that. When you look at how much the Senate Democrats want to pay, it's important to understand what the numbers are. They want to pay somewhere between $1,400 a month to $2,000 a month. And that calculates the following way. If they get the bill to the finish line in June, well, June to December, approximately at $2,000 a month would be $12,000 in your pocket. If it's $1,400 a month, that would be about $8,400 in your pocket. Look how big that is. This is a lot of money. $1,400 is $8,400, and $2,000 is $12,000. Let's compare that back to SSI and SSDI. Look at it. $2,400 versus $12,000. How about $2,400 compared to $8,000? It's nearly a fraction of the amount that's at issue. Now, here's what's going on. It was in one of the chats I asked viewers, well, why are you going to the mat on SSI and SSDI if someone wants to give you $8,000, $10,000, $12,000? And one person said, yes, but I get a 20% lifetime increase of my benefits. Here is where the confusion is stemming from. Let me explain what's going on. It's important to understand that there is Sonia got her check in the mail just today. Wow, Sonia, congratulations. Sonia just got her $1,400 third stimulus check in the mail today. I am in the live chat, by the way, in this video. So congratulations, Dancing Bear from Sonia. Congratulations, she got her check in the mail. It's an important thing to go over, and we're going to have a discussion right now. But the SSI and SSDI, so one of the viewers was said in one of the comments of the video, yes, $12,000 is more than $2,400, but I want that 20% increase. Here's the mistake. Lost during the equation, whether it was from another channel, which I think I know who it is, or folklore. There is no 20% increase of SSI and SSDI. It's up to 20% for certain individuals. It's not for everyone. And so I think people are hearing the message and reducing the narrative, or they heard it from someone else the incorrect way. It's not, there was never a proposal that every single person was getting exactly 20%. So let's say, for example, let's say your monthly benefits are $1,000. Then they were looking to get $1,200, which is an extra $200 a month, which over a year is about $1,200. I think that's what had happened, was that some people had heard from somewhere else that it's exactly 20% and that everyone was getting 20%. It was never proposed that way. It was proposed up to 20% for lifetime benefits. That's number one. Number two, the tying the benefits to something other than COLA, CPIE, is really, really needed. But that also is not a big ticket item. Tying your benefits to be increased every year to CPIE, not to COLA, is not going to make you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every year. And in fact, if you're on benefits for, let's say, 10 years, you may still never get $12,000 if you're tied to CPIE versus COLA. So what's important to understand, just to start, is that while some people now understand that $2,400 of SSI and SSDI is a lot less than $12,000 of recurring stimulus checks. Also, if you got an increase of your SSI benefits, or if you got a new tie to CPIE, you're still lower, dramatically lower, than that $12,000. It's a big difference. There is Brandon Romero with a question. Hello, sir. I got a $2,800 check when I was supposed to get $1,400. Do they send it to me and my mom together, or is that mine and she will get hers on her own economic impact card? I'm clueless. Really great question. I get that a lot. I get sometimes people who think they got too much and that they waited out and they realize they did not. And then I have people who do wait it out and they think it is really too much. So it's a little bit too early to tell at the moment, Brandon. So that's a really great question. I would wait about another 2 weeks to see if your mom gets her check. There's Tabitha. I have some purple bacon for you. Thank you. Debbie has a good comment, though, for Brandon. She says, Brandon, if you fill out your tax return for you and your mom, it's a stimulus check for both of you. And there is someone else who just said, I just got my check as well. Matt, in the mail today, I got the paperwork from the IRS Treasury, said that I should have received the $600 check that was 3 months ago. So that's a great question from Mark. Wow. So that question is that he is basically getting the letter. What's that letter? Let me go over that letter, because that letter does confuse people. After the first stimulus check, there's a letter. After the second stimulus check, there's a letter. After this stimulus check, there'll be another letter. It says, hi, I sent you a check. Did you get it? No, I didn't get it. Or, yeah, I did get it. So in this case, Mark says, I don't know, if I don't understand Mark's comment, either Mark did get his check or he didn't get his check. If you did not get your check, well, you have to request that second stimulus check by tax return, by requesting on the tax return. And if you did get the second stimulus check, then you could just ignore the letter. I know the letter just caused a lot of people confusion because they're like, what does this letter mean? What is the $12,000 and $4,000 and $400, $8,400? Shamika, thank you for the question. So I was cutting, I went off of fourth stimulus back into third stimulus for just a second because people were asking about this weekend's stimulus check. So what I was going over here is what's going on in fourth stimulus. In fourth stimulus, you're going to hear the President of the United States talk about infrastructure and climate and pipes and rails and tow trucks. But when the bill lands in the Senate Democrats are going to modify it by vote-a-rama and put in reoccurring stimulus checks. It's not that someone's guessing they're going to do this. They said they're going to do it. And we're trying to figure out how much that would calculate out to and compare it to the prior things people have not been paid for. And one of the first things that we know is the two numbers at issue. The two numbers at issue are either a $1,400 monthly check or a $2,000 monthly check. Well, if they get this bill done in June, then that could give us 6 months of rent. It's not rent, 6 months of stimulus. 6 months at $2,000 a month is $12,000. If the bill gets the Senate in June, it's $1,400 as an amendment, then that would be $8,400. This is a lot of money. Now, no one's saying that the bill is going to get done by June. No one's saying the bill will have these exact amounts. But this is an analysis of the situation. There's some talk about getting the bill done in July, so you would lose a month of check there right off the board. But we're trying to compare this back to things that were unpaid. FPUC retro, $12,000. Well, FPUC retro was a very big ticket item. Look how $12,000 of FPUC retro compares to these things. A Lifeline grant, a grant that was in the hazard pay, in the Nancy Pelosi Heroes Act, $50,000, never happened. It dwarfs all of this stuff. And then the hazard pay, which was up to $10,000. You were not guaranteed $10,000. It was up to $10,000 based upon $13 an hour, how long you worked. Well, that's almost in the money, so it's almost a break even. But the SSI and SSDI, $2,400 a month, that is really, really small. And what's important to know is that it's dwarfed by these other items. There's a comment coming in from one viewer. Brian Sanchez, what if my FPUC ends next month? What's going to happen after that? That's a great question, Brian. So your FPUC can't end next month. If you started FPUC in the month of March, the third stimulus package bill extends your FPUC till September 6th. So if you've been on FPUC since March, it won't expire next month. It'll go all the way to September 6th under the current bill. Can they do that retroactive pay on SSI when they decide? Yeah, they can do anything they want to do, but I'm even considering retroactively. Remember, SSI and SSDI was $200 a month. Obviously, we're now in April. I'm giving you 12 months of it right here. So I'm giving you 12 months of SSI and SSDI. It's only $2,400 a month. It's only $2,400. It's a fraction of reoccurring stimulus checks, $12,000. So no one would ever take $2,400 over $12,000. It's dwarfed in comparison. But what I was saying earlier in this video is that some people were saying, well, I'd rather take the SSI and SSDI because it has the increase and the CPIE. No. The CPIE is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. It's not even $100 a year. That's the first thing. Well, let me think about that again. It's not even $100 a month. And then the increase is not for everyone. And so, and there's nothing to prevent them from doing the CPIE separate, of course. Anything on VAs yet? Says 3,000 degrees. Yes, so I've had VAs getting stimulus checks all along. Now, the Veterans Administration said that Wave 5 is for veterans. I'm not going to leave my veterans hanging, so I will watch that situation. I know that veterans have gotten stimulus checks since Wave 1, which was all the way back in March 17th. Then they got veterans got checks in Wave 2. They got checks in Wave 3, and they're pending for next week as well. But veterans say the VA administration says no. Veterans are mid-April, so I will stay with that subject across the board. Direct Express April 7th says Tabitha, congrats. Lorenzo, I'm a disabled father, about $16,000 in free grants. And let me see some more of the questions. Why is it so hard to get it the first time? They think they've known where I am since I was in the U.S. Army since age 17. Yeah, there's a hard problem with this government sending things out, and that is one question someone dropped into the chat yesterday, where they said, when they do reoccurring stimulus checks, are they going to have these waves? I said, I hope they don't have waves. I'll be seasick from it. No, I mean, they have to be able to get checks out on time and do them on a regular basis. If they do the reoccurring stimulus checks, which they likely are, then they need to figure out a simple system for this, whether it's sending a debit card and refreshing the debit card every month, or, having everyone sign up for direct deposit and just lands automatically. They have to have a very simple system to this, because they're not doing a good job on these stimulus checks. Each round occurs. Every round they have to fix some problem. And trust me, I know there's going to be people who will be missing checks this weekend. But the great news is that millions and millions and millions of viewers are suddenly seeing that $14 stimulus check show up this weekend. They're showing it by pending status, so they show it in their direct deposit account available for funds, or it's showing up in the mail, as one person just said a second ago. The government's always having problems setting things out, says Mark. Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. I got $1,000 from Community Action. Congratulations, Deb. Bonna, girl, I'm with Metabank and I got it around 12 noon yesterday. Congratulations. Meantime, the White House had a new video 2 days ago explaining why the fourth stimulus package is justified in raising taxes. Let's listen to see what the White House said at the time about raising those taxes.
Core founding members about the unique efforts that communities across the country are taking to get more shots in arms, including by hosting virtual town halls, giving workers paid time off, and conducting direct outreach to people within their community, and a lot more work, of course, to come from there. Involved in making calls, doing outreach, communicating with members of Congress, with governors, with elected officials, and of course with the American people. I will say the piece that's slightly different, or in addition to, is what the president announced at the cabinet meeting, which is that he has asked, say that in the wake of the 2017 tax giveaway to corporate America, I should say, 91 of the Fortune 500 companies paid no federal taxes. Zero federal taxes. That is not something that the American people believe is fair, that we believe is fair. And what we're talking about here is making adjustments to the tax code to make it more fair, to invest in our infrastructure, invest in American workers, so that we can be more competitive over the long term.
And then lastly, earlier today in Kentucky, Senator McConnell was talking and said that the package, quote, is not going to get support from our side. He opposes the undoing of the 2017 tax cuts and said that, quote, I'm going to fight them every step of the way. So how do you respond?
I think there's some more questions to be asked. Does he disagree that our nation's infrastructure is outdated and needs repair? Does he disagree that we need to do more to put American workers back to work and to invest in industries that have growth potential over the long term? Does he disagree that 1/3 of the country who doesn't have broadband access should have access to broadband? There are a lot of areas where there is agreement with across the political spectrum, from investment in infrastructure, doing more to be competitive with China, and what we're really talking about here is how to pay for it. And so what we're looking for is proposals of alternatives. If you don't want to raise the corporate tax rate, still lower than it's been over the last 70 years and across decades, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to put in place a global minimum tax, what are the alternatives? We're happy to hear those proposals. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. Yesterday, when President Biden spoke about corporate taxes, he specifically named Amazon out of the kind of Fortune 500 companies that have paid zero federal taxes. Why did he just name Amazon?
It's just an example. As I noted, there were actually 91 companies who didn't pay any corporate taxes in 2018, so there were many to pick from.
And about the Baltimore plant.
Some great questions in the comments, so let me answer them right now. One of them was from Diane Grouse. Can you get a mortgage assistance if you're not behind on your payments? I'm on SSI and SSDI, and the mortgage takes a lot of my check each month. Yes. So Diane, the language of the mortgage assistance is the following. Again, this is the federal law. I'll explain that in more about that in a second. But it basically says you have to have financial hardship directly or indirectly because of the pandemic. So you don't actually have to be behind on your bills. You just have to actually have financial hardship directly or indirectly because of the pandemic. Now, here's the twist to this. This is a federal law, but the federal government will not be administering it. Your state, city, and county will be administering it. And because your city, state, and county will be administering it, they can all do it slightly differently. What's going to be happening is a great question, Diane. What's going to be happening over the next few days and weeks, I believe it's going to really hit really hard next week, that's why I'm covering it now, is that the cities, states, and counties are going to go live with this rent, utilities, mortgage assistance as well. And viewers will ask me, what is the standard and how does this apply? Guess what? It's a federal law, but the states can make it more stringent or modify it, make it more relaxed. And you may have 3 different standards, one at the state, one at the county, and one at the city. And they'll have separate funds of money for you to go grab from. So, as one of the viewers said in one of the chats earlier today, I reached out to my state and they did this and this to me. I didn't like it. My response was go reach out to the county. Reach out to the county and then reach out to the city, because they each have a different pot of money generally if you're in a big state. And you can apply in different locations if the application is slightly different. Long answer to your question is, I don't know, because every state and city does it differently. The federal law does not say that, but they could put it in there. And if you don't like it, reach out to the other local government. There was also another question. Joyce, will the children get the forced stimulus check? Yes. And I have a graphic for that, and I was about to show that as well. That's a great question, Joyce. So here is those reoccurring stimulus checks. Just an analysis. These aren't the exact numbers. These aren't the exact dates. This is just an analysis of possibilities. If they get the bill done in June and they get the checks every month from June to December, and it's $2,000 a month, that's $12,000. June to December at $1,400 a month, that's $8,400. Now let's look at the children. The children currently are $3,600 or $3,000 a year. The president, however, has on the record admitted that he wants to do the children's check on an annualized basis for 18 years. Well, that's upwards of $65,000 he wants to give every child in this country. So I don't think there's any stretch of giving Americans $8,000 if he wants to give a child $65,000 a lifetime. Thank you for that great question, though. That was Joyce Hildrick. Let me see some more of the questions. So is the $4,000 reoccurring stimulus check becoming a possibility? A very, very strong possibility. Let me explain to you why. People always ask me how to predict things. Let me explain why. The forced stimulus package bill, because it will be a package, it'll have a lot of stuff in there, is going to be called infrastructure, jobs, the jobs bill, climate. It's the one the president talks about every day in the videos of this channel. It will not have anything for stimulus checks in there. When will those go in there? When the bill lands in the Senate It'll go by reconciliation, and over a 2-day period, they'll have that vote-a-rama again. And that's where any Senate Democrat can introduce an amendment to the bill. That's like what happened last time. Remember, when the third stimulus package landed in the Senate, it had FPUC at $400 a week. It got amended to $300 a week. They amended the bill to also do the $10,200 of unemployment, and they did a lot of other amendments. So the amendment that 21 of 50 Democrats say they will do is a monthly stimulus check for all households, all individuals at the same income level we're at now. And that's really going to happen because it's 21 of 50 Democrats. You need 50 of 50 Democrats to approve the bill. And those 21 of 50 are the leaders of the Senate, including Chuck Schumer. So if they want it, it's going to get done. The only question is how much and how many months, and when is that bill in the Senate? If the bill is in the Senate in June, great. If the bill is in the Senate in July, it's a month later. You're losing a month. You're losing a check for a month. If the bill is in August, you're losing 2 months. So you want that bill there as fast as possible and out the door. Diane, thank you for your explanation. I really appreciate it. Oh, there's another factor I didn't mention to you as well. There's a political factor to this. Additionally, I always forget to mention this. They want to do this also for the midterm elections. They want those reoccurring stimulus checks to carry the Democrats for the Senate into the midterm election. So the Democrats hold the Senate. It's a very good political move. Timothy, thank you, Timothy, for becoming a Purple Hawk. Let me jump back into the live chat and see some of the other comments happening right now. Jenny, what happened to the money if you had to leave work, if someone had COVID and you had to take care of them and you have COVID or exposed to COVID? Yes, that did pass. So that is the paid sick leave. The paid sick leave did get into the bill, the third stimulus package bill. Hysterically, yesterday, one of the videos I ran, a news reporter asked the press secretary, said, it didn't get in there. She's like, yeah, it did get in there. Because no one ever talks about it. It did get in there. So what is it? If you were employed, if you had a job and you had to stay home from that job to take care of a household member, whether it's a child, a family member, or someone in the household, you can get up to $1,700 calculated on a $43,000 annual salary. So if you made less, you get less per week. Very, very good. Again, those are the qualifications. You're employed, you have to stay home from work, it's a member of your household, and it's based upon that calculation. Great question. And there is Timothy. Thank you, Timothy, for becoming a Purple Hawk. Everyone welcome Timothy to the family. Ghost, is that the amount on per person or adults? That is, they have not given us a number, but that's an analysis if it was per person. And there's no indication that it would be anything less than this. So yeah, if you have a 4-member household, you would double that times 4. There's Brandon. Do you qualify for the child tax credit if you have no income? Yes. That's a great question. And that's from Brandon Boos. There are 2 child tax credits. There's the child tax credit and the child care tax credit, which is the daycare cost. The child tax credit, which is the $3,600 or $3,000, anyone can get it in the United States on the requirement that you don't make over a certain income level. You can be unemployed and get it. You can be on SSI and SSDI and get it. You can be absolutely any walk of the country and get it. The threshold, I think it's $75,000 again for an individual, $150 for a married couple. But if you make more than that, it starts to phase out. So I think it goes up to almost $100,000 an individual, and you can still get money for that child, which was what Republicans had a problem with it. They said, if you're making $100,000, why are we giving you $3,600 for your child? But it got in there. So yes, absolutely, you can get it. Great question. Jenny, the fourth stimulus. Are you talking about the stimulus checks? Yes. Nancy, I received my stimulus check in the mail today. Congratulations. Deborah, is the EIC for 1502 live for essential workers? It is. So, but it is a 2021 tax return credit, the earned income tax credit. Qualifications are the following: 19 years or older and made less than $25,000. Earned income tax credit 1502. Great question, Deborah. Thank you. Sharon, thank you for the dancing pear. And there's a dancing bear. Let's dance, dancing bear. What about adult dependents in the fourth stimulus? I would presume, they've said very few words to us about what the deal terms are. And I got to tell you, who cares if they even said deal terms to us, because they can still amend them. But it's likely to follow the path of this package. This package, adult dependents got a stimulus check. And it's likely to follow exactly how this one's going. So everyone $1,400 or $2,000 or some amount every month, and the income thresholds potentially still the same, and away we go. Let me see some more other questions. Great comments and great questions in this video. Let me see what else people are saying right now. Denise, my check is also directly deposited in my checking account. Have a great Easter weekend. Love you to the moon and back at home. Well, thank you, Denise. That's very kind. Teresa, what are qualified for paid sick leave if I've been exposed 3 times at work and do not want to take the chance of catching it? Great question, Teresa. So the paid sick leave has 3 elements for the individual. 1, you're working but have to stay at home because either you have COVID, you have to quarantine because of COVID, or a household member has COVID and you have to take care of them. So if you have to stay at home and quarantine because of COVID, even though you are not sick, you can get paid sick leave. So if you have to actually quarantine at home, basically go to the doctor and the doctor says, yeah, I want you to quarantine for 10 days, you can get that paid sick leave. And a couple happy Easter remarks. Thank you. Happy Easter back. When do you think this one will be a reality? The fourth stimulus? The fourth stimulus is going to be an 11th hour reality. You remember the CR for stimulus? Remember when we put the CR in the stimulus in December? We were going into Christmas and we were like, nothing's working, nothing's happening. And then suddenly it was like a Thursday and it started to pop. And then there was no stimulus check, and then it settled down for a day, and then suddenly within just 3 days it popped. That's what's going to happen with this one. You're going to hope that the chatter of it from the people who want to do it, the senators, continues, and that once the vote-a-rama date is set for when they do those amendments over 48 hours in the Senate, that is literally the moment it's going to hit like a brick. Now, there's always a possibility the president puts it in there when he drafts the bill, but I don't think he's listening to them on a lot of stuff. He seems to just sort of put things in there, and then when they modify them, he's like, okay, fine, modify my bill. So you're likely to see this reality when it lands in the Senate, not when the president drafts the actual bill. Great question. 3,000 degrees. Love your thank you, 3,000 degrees. Alma, happy Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. How much is the earned income tax credit for 2021? Gustavo, 1502 exactly. 1502 if you're a hazard pay worker, essential worker, age 19 or older, and made less than $25,000. If you're just joining me, let me give you the big recap where we are in this video, and I'll see you on Afternoons LA. The big recap in this video was to show you the analysis of why the SSI and SSDI $2,400 is less than what the Democrats are proposing in reoccurring stimulus checks. It's when we look at the hazard pay and we compare it against that, it's a little bit apples for apples. SSI and SSDI $2,400, hazard pay 10, FPUC 2012, Lifeline from Nancy Pelosi's HEROES Act, which is never going to happen now, 50. But if they do reoccurring stimulus checks and get it done starting in June to December, that would be about $12,000 if it's $2,000 a month. Again, they have not given us the amount yet, and they've not given us the months yet, but they say monthly. If it's $1,400 a month, then that would be $8,400, and this is all for per individual. People have asked me, well, there are other benefits to that SSI plan, and they say, well, there's the 20% increase. This video was to explain, and I hopefully did explain, that the 20% increase is up to 20% and not for everyone. Also, that the CPIE index, different than COLA, can be done at any time by executive order, doesn't need this. And the CPIE would still not be, would pale in comparison, would be pennies on the dollar when compared to $12,000 of this type of stimulus. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you on Afternoons LA, which is back in about, I don't know, about half an hour from now. It'll be a big recording, and don't miss Evenings LA at 5 p.m. Pacific time tonight. Stay informed, stay focused. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for all the new members in today's chat. Really appreciate it. Also, like the video. Don't forget to like. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. Stay informed, stay focused, and save LA for more.